ASA is a regional bloc of the Philippines, Malaysia and Thailand that was formed in 1961. ASEAN, however, was born on August 8, 1967 in Bangkok when the foreign ministers of Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and the Philippines met in Bangkok to sign the ASEAN Declaration that formally established what is now known as the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. These 5 ministers are referred to as the founding fathers of the ASEAN. Their vision was to unite all Southeast Asian nations, which was realized when ASEAN expanded to include Brunei Darussalam on January 8, 1984, Vietnam on July 28, 1995, Laos People's Democratic Republic, and Myanmar on July 23, 1997, and Cambodia on April 30, 1999. From 5 countries, ASEAN now encompasses 10 member states with a diversity of cultures, but united in a common yearning to become one ASEAN community. ASEAN, we are many, but one. Welcome to ASEAN. Through time, members of the ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, have nurtured friendly ties with each other. And one of the many ways they do this is by engaging in sports or games. The ASEAN region is replete with indigenous games, a good number of which are largely influenced by the surroundings from which they originated. The sepak takraw is one such indigenous game in the region. This game, which can be played by either men or women, makes use of hand-woven ball made from a rattan plant. It is played on a rectangular court with a rectangular net at the center. Sepak takraw is also known by many names in different places in the region. It is traditionally a social pastime, played in public events, while its modern version is more competitive and played in regional, national, and international tournaments, with structured rules and regulations. These rules and regulations were established in 1960 to harmonize the different versions of the game. It was also agreed then that sepak takraw would be its official game. Sepak takraw is a combination of the Malay word for kick and the Thai word for ball. Another popular indigenous game among the peoples of ASEAN is kite flying, which is also known by many names in each country of the region. ASEAN kite makers take advantage of the abundance of raw materials in the region to craft these multicolored aerial wonders. According to the ASEAN Kite Council, there are several distinct kite designs from the various ASEAN countries. In 2011, the first ASEAN Kite Festival was held and attended by some 100 international kite flyers from the 10 member states of the region. This shared passion for the rich tradition of kite making and flying provided the impetus for the creation of the ASEAN Kite Council in February 2004 by 7 ASEAN member states, while the other 3 have already expressed their desire to join the organization. This indigenous game is truly a way of expressing that the ASEAN peoples are under the same sky. Another indigenous game in the ASEAN region is top spinning. A top is usually fashioned from a piece of wood, clay, or metal. It has an axis around which it rotates. A top can be set in motion by spinning a cord or a string around it and hurling it on a spot where it can rotate continuously. There are various types of tops in the ASEAN region. Some are small, some are big, some have intricate designs, while some have smooth surfaces. Top spinning is very much a part of the ASEAN people's way of life. It is played during the harvest season, festivals, tournaments, and other public events. Top spinning, one of the many indigenous games in the ASEAN region that member states share with each other, binding them as one people. ASEAN traditional games, be it on land and in sky, or anywhere, the ASEAN peoples will always find a way to express their shared sense of community.
The fish are eating. So should you, anak.
Thank you.
You're welcome, anak.
What does anak mean?
It means my child.
The ASEAN is an organization founded on August 8, 1967. It was built to promote cooperation in the socio-cultural, economic, and political security pillars of the region. The Philippines will assume chairmanship of ASEAN 2017, which also coincides with the 50th year of the regional community. As the chair, the Philippines champions positive change in the community to produce a unified voice in the world. 6 thematic priorities were laid down to outline what the community needs in achieving holistic growth and development. Several major elements, outcome documents, policies, and agenda make up each of the 6 thematic priorities. A people-oriented, people-centered ASEAN. The ASEAN community puts its citizens' welfare at the center of its priorities, where the rights are protected and their well-being recognized as the key to the region's progress. Peace and stability in the region. This thematic priority aims to uphold peaceful coexistence and regional cooperation among its member states. Maritime security and cooperation. This adheres to the rule of law for the peaceful resolution of disputes and the preservation and protection of maritime resources. Inclusive innovation-led growth. This will provide opportunities for business growth and will help improve regional capacity in responding to the demands of the global economy. Resilient ASEAN. This will cultivate a sustainable region that's prepared and responsive to disasters. And lastly, ASEAN, a model of regionalism, a global player. As one, the community aims to showcase its various capacities as a global player in the international arena. These 6 priorities will forge the future towards ASEAN's vision of an inclusive, united, and progressive community. As the past has united us, it is our promised future that will make us stronger. We are one ASEAN. This is our journey. This is our future. Together. ASEAN 2017. Partnering for change. Engaging the world.
One of the three pillars of the ASEAN is the ASEAN Economic Community, or the AEC, which highlights the region's equitable economic growth. To achieve a well-integrated and connected economy, the AEC leans on four pillars: the establishment of a single market and production base, a highly competitive economic region, a region of equitable economic development, and a region fully integrated into global economy. As the Philippines chairs this year's ASEAN, it will ensure that more opportunities will be generated for the people. One of its 6 thematic priorities, inclusive innovation-led growth, outlines various mechanisms and business programs to champion the inclusion of micro, small and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, in the international trade, and the strengthened promotion of youth and women entrepreneurship. Furthermore, the Philippines is poised to advocate the MSME mandate in ASEAN through the following strategic measures: increasing trade and investment, integrating MSMEs in the digital economy, and developing an innovation-driven economy. The ASEAN Economic Community is set to build a progressive tomorrow for everyone. This is our future. ASEAN 2017. Partnering for change, engaging the world.
The ASEAN community is highly integrated, competitive, and innovative. The ASEAN aims to develop a regional economy that supports sustained high economic growth by increasing trade, investment, and job generation. The ability to respond to global trends and international standards enable the region to advance a single market agenda through a more seamless movement of investment, skilled labor, and deeper integration in trade and services. It is a community that promotes productive growth with enhanced micro, small, and medium enterprises that will make the region more competitive and dynamic. The ASEAN community shall have a more enhanced role and voice in addressing international economic issues in the global arena.
We are at the International Media Center in Conrad, Manila.
we have exits and doors that can be used during emergencies. Our fire and earthquake evacuation is at the open parking area along the corner of Marina Way and Ocean Drive. We have trained emergency response teams that will respond in less than a minute in case a fire breaks out and guides you out from the building. We have fully addressable fire annunciation alarm systems with complete firefighting equipment to handle incipient to conflagration stage of fire. For earthquakes, please follow the drop, cover, and hold procedure. Drop under a sturdy object such as the table, cover your head and your other hand, hold onto the table. For strong tremors, evacuate only once the tremor stops, and again you will be guided by our emergency response teams to the fire exits and to the evacuation area. For your medical concerns, we have a clinic that is manned by a physician and a 24-hour nurse that will address your medical concern. Just approach any of our personnel to assist you to our clinic, or our nurse will attend to you personally. Let us review in any eventualities. Number 1, do not panic. Calmly evacuate using the nearest fire exits as guided by our ERTs. Number 2, our emergency hotline number is 88. Number 3, just a simple reminder, transact business only with authorized hotel personnel. Ask for his identification if you are in doubt. Thank you and have a good day.
One of the 3 pillars of the ASEAN is the socio-cultural community. The ASEAN socio-cultural community is responsible in shepherding a people-oriented, people-centered ASEAN. In achieving this, the Philippines intends to ensure the promotion and protection of the rights of migrant workers, promote the protection of the rights of the vulnerable sectors, further advance the appreciation of cultural heritage to strengthen the ASEAN identity, intensify access to healthcare and improve nutrition, promote the role of the civil service as catalyst for achieving ASEAN Vision 2025, to forge a more resilient ASEAN in consideration of the natural and human-induced disasters, it will ensure environmental protection, carry out climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction and mitigation related activities, intensify protection of our biodiversity through the programs, projects, and activities of our ASEAN Center for Biodiversity. ASEAN's socio-cultural pillar shall reinforce itself with resiliency and effective mechanisms to meet the current and future needs of the people. This is our future. ASEAN 2017. Partnering for change, engaging the world.
The ASEAN community is committed, participative, and socially responsible. The ASEAN upholds the principles of good governance, promotes high quality of life, equitable access to opportunities, and human rights. The ASEAN community shall reinforce itself with resiliency and effective mechanisms to meet the current and future needs of the people. Dynamic, harmonious, and united, the region stands as a community that's aware and proud of its identity, with a capacity to innovate and proactively contribute to the global community.
Bright lights, city sights, shopping malls, little stalls, flip-flops, rock and roll, street smart, fine art, new and old, bronze, gold, warm, charm, hot and cold. Quick bites, fruity finds, nice smiles, wild style, cheap thrills, sky high, knick-knacks, welcome back. Every corner, fun, fun, fun. Manila, welcome back.
The ASEAN enforces a rules-based community that ensures our people enjoy human rights and freedom. A community that adopts a comprehensive approach to security and resolves differences and disputes through peaceful means. The region recognizes and respects shared values, norms, and the fundamental principles which will make ASEAN more united and cohesive. The community aims to strengthen its engagement with other external parties, as well as respond to global developments and the ever-changing demands of the international arena. The ASEAN, as powered by its member states, seeks to build and create a more conducive environment towards a progressive world.
Southeast Asia, one of the most diverse regions in the world, home of 20% of the world's plants and animal species. The region covers a total land area of 4.46 million square kilometers, with almost 2 million square kilometers of various terrestrial bodies, making it a perfect haven for biological sites and species. Unfortunately, from 1980 to 2007, Southeast Asia lost almost 600 square kilometers of forests. Indeed, a disturbing development in biological resources. Thus, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations agreed on a comprehensive program to protect and restore our natural resources. 10 years ago, ASEAN established the ASEAN Center for Biodiversity, or ACB, to strengthen the capacity of the region to reduce the loss of biodiversity, promote sustainable use of biological resources, and fulfill their obligations to relevant multilateral environmental agreements. ACB is hosted by the Philippines and currently located at the University of the Philippines in Los Baños, Laguna.
ACB makes sure that the biodiversity resources that we have in the region is well maintained, that there is balance between conservation and economic development. We strive for people to be aware of the values of biodiversity and how it contributes to sustainable development and to human well-being.
The center also facilitates the conservation, protection, and preservation of the ASEAN Heritage Parks, or AHPs, in the 10 member states. AHPs are the selected and protected areas in the ASEAN region, which are known for their unique biodiversity and ecosystems. They are also aimed at preserving a complete spectrum of representative ecosystems in the region. As of 2015, there are 35 ASEAN Heritage Parks in the 10 ASEAN member states, of which 7 are in the Philippines. And one of them is found in the beautiful island of Mindoro. Mount Iglit-Baco National Park covers an area of 75,445 hectares, located in the heart of Occidental Mindoro. The park encompasses at least 8 major river systems and has a rugged terrain composed of slopes, river gorges, plateaus, and grasslands, making the place one of the most preferred trekking and hiking sites in the Philippines. Mount Iglit-Baco National Park may also be said to be a perfect example of a biological diversity haven.
Ang bahagi po ng Protected Area Office dito sa Iglit-Baco ay kakikitaan ng iba't ibang mga tinatawag nating endemic species. Mayroon pa tayo dito yung tinatawag nating warty pig o yung mga baboy damo na kakaiba kaysa sa baboy damo na makikita sa bahagi ng Luzon at Mindanao. Meron din dito yung Mindoro Taritic Hornbill at ganoon din ang isang mga halaman ay yung ating tinatawag na Mindoro Pines.
Aside from these endemic species, Mount Iglit-Baco National Park was also recognized as the home of the largest native terrestrial mammal in the Philippines, the endemic Mindoro dwarf buffalo, called the tamarao. As one of the rarest species in the country, the protection and preservation of the endangered tamarao is one of the most essential missions of the ACB. The good news is, the number of tamaraos has gradually improved from 382 registered in 2014 to 405 this year.
Noong hindi pa ito naging heritage site, ay hindi may pagkakailan na naging rampant yung tinatawag nating hunting sa loob ng protected area. Subalit nung ito ay may deklara na heritage park, ang kagandahan ay naging bukas ito sa publiko para magkaroon ng konserbatibo at saka responsableng kamalayan.
When Mount Iglit-Baco was recognized as an ASEAN Protected National Park, it was evident that the park was to be developed into a sanctuary. Plants and trees were protected, and animals, particularly the endemic ones, were given proper shelter. However, those primarily affected by the changes are the ethnic tribes living in the mountain. Generally, they are the Mangyans, but the tribes are divided into numerous ethnic minorities, and the largest among them is the Taubuid tribe.
Ang tribong Taubuid po ay sa simula't simula pa dito na nakatira, dito na naumuhay sa Occidental Mindoro, na kung saan ang tribong Taubuid po ay may sariling wika, may sariling kultura, kaugalian, may sariling sistema sa pangangalaga ng samut-saring buhay ilang.
Tribal chieftain Fausto Noveloso says that the Taubuid embraces a very simple way of life, but their tribe has survived changes as they learn to adapt to modern ways introduced by the Siganon or the non-tribe folks. These include changes suggested by the ASEAN Center for Biodiversity. Today, the tribe is now harmoniously adjusting to the regulations from ACB and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources.
Sa pagkaalam ng tribo, ang tamaraw o ang iglit ay sa tribo, pag-aari ng tribo. Kaya ang tribo ay nagtaka kung bakit pinasok ng ating gobyerno na maging national park. Naging gawain ko na lang po ay naging tagapamagitan na lang ako, tagapagpaliwanag sa aking tribo na wala namang masamang layunin, kundi bagkos kung ang ating gobyerno lang ang masunod, ayaw nga nilang patayin ayaw nga nilang kainin ng tamaraw, kundi alagaan at paramihin. Yun po yung pinapaliwanag ko sa aking tribo.
To maintain balance in decision-making for Mount Iglit-Baco National Park, the government provides seats for representatives of the ethnic groups in the council that administers the protection of the mountains.
Meron pong 3 representative at 3 kinatawan ang tribo ng Taubuid. Sapat na po yun upang maging malakas na boses sa bawat programa na nais ipasok sa loob ng protected area, yung boses ng katutubo sa pamagitan ng kanilang 3 representative.
As our world continues to evolve, we must understand that our lives are always interconnected with nature. The ASEAN heritage parks, like Mount Iglit-Baco National Park, are our places to protect, places to conserve, places to nourish, and places to be proud of, because they are our home.
Kaya ang sa akin, buong lupaing ninuno ng tribo dapat magkaisa na pangalagaan yung kani-kanilang mga nasakupang likas yaman.
indigenous art forms, unique cultural patterns and designs, vibrant folk colors, meticulously processed and weaved into a rich tapestry of fabrics that are Southeast Asia's own. A timeless treasure that ASEAN is endeavoring to preserve. A traditional craft and means of livelihood now facing challenges to its existence. Thus, ASEAN, in cooperation with China, convened a forum on the plight of their traditional weavers. Held in a center of traditional weaving in the Philippines, the forum provided opportunities for weavers to share experiences and challenges, explore possibilities for making the craft competitive and profitable, and recommend needed policies to save traditional weaving and traditional means of livelihood. The Philippines, like its fellow ASEAN member states, boasts of a rich trove of beautiful hand-woven fabrics using various fibers such as cotton, abaca, banana, banaka, silk, pineapple, and others. But the most exquisite of them all is the piña fabric. The fabric is made of fibers extracted from the leaves of the red Formosa pineapple. The fibers come in two kinds, the hand-scraped and the corticated. A soft, diaphanous fabric, the pure or 100% piña fabric is the most elegant of the many textiles produced by hand in the Philippines and is regarded the queen of Philippine fabrics. The pineapple or piña plant, which is of Central American origins, was introduced to the Philippines by the Spaniards. The plant quickly grew all over the country because of the suitable weather and fertile soil. Available year-round, the pineapple is one of the favorite fruits in the Philippines because of its exceptional juiciness and vibrant flavor. Today, the Philippines is the second largest producer of pineapple in the world. In the southeastern part of Luzon is the province of Camarines Norte, which is one of the major pineapple growers in the country. Known for its red pineapple or Formosa, the province devotes a total of 2,400 hectares of its farmland to pineapple production. The center of piña fabric production in the province is the municipality of Labo. The town boasts of teams of skilled workers for piña production, from farmers to highly skilled scrapers, knotters, and weavers.
Yung weaving industry sa amin dito, yun nga, gumaganda, no? Dahil nga, andun yung pagkutulungan namin.
Ang potential ng aming weaving industry dito ay maganda sa kadahilan ng meron kaming raw materials na ginagamit dito sa aming bayan.
The meticulous and tedious production process begins with scraping the fibers from the pineapple leaves, then washing, drying, warping, denting, drawing in, and finally, the weaving.
Lahat kasing manual, lahat kikilos, gagawa. Wala kang katulong na machine, na mahirap, pero masaya kapag natatapos namin. Pag nakakagawa ka ng isang tela, parang ang saya.
Woven to exquisite fineness and gossamer beauty